With the increasing suburbanization of America, an old status symbol has risen to new heights: the lawn. From grass length to greenness, a lawn's presentation can signify the security of a homeowner and become the envy of the neighborhood. Neat lawns also imply that a homeowner is responsible, organized, and willing to spend the time and money to maintain their land. However, does the local renown come at a price? Proper maintenance of crops and lawns is no small task. It involves repeated mowing, weeding, mulching, and planting. But often these measures simply aren't enough to meet the standard of perfection that many Americans strive for. Unwanted weeds and pests still run rampant, demanding the use of pesticides. Dating back to the 1800s, farmers all around the world have been using pesticides in order to decrease crop loss. The chemicals used to do the job are only getting stronger. With population rising, landscapes thinning, and an increasing number of uses for produce, the demand faced by farmers has reached new heights. These factors encourage the use of the most powerful pesticides available to ensure the highest possible crop yields. Pesticide use has not been limited to agriculture, however, and has spread not only to the average local landowner, but to anyone who cultivates and maintains grass. Increased pesticide use has more recently made its way into the news in a negative light. There is a lack of research or accurate data on the health effects of these chemicals. Their use has even been linked on multiple occasions to probable carcinogenic effects felt by those immediately exposed to pesticide application. In fact, the world's most used pesticide, glyphosate, is rated as a Category 2A carcinogen by the World Health Organization. This indicates probable carcinogenic effects to humans. Reports from Time magazine, the New York Times, and CNN have all cited recent research which determines that pesticide use may play a role, possibly significant role, in the development of childhood leukemia and lymphoma. In addition, one report states, pesticide exposure may also drive up the risk of other types of cancers, such as prostate and bladder. However, these effects have not been studied extensively enough to be conclusive. Regardless, just the knowledge of a possible risk to our health should logically lead down a path to reduced use and exposure. The negative impacts of these pesticides extend far beyond harming just humans. For instance, take the dramatic decline of milkweed, a plant native to the mid-Atlantic region. This plant is commonly viewed as a weed and not desirable for yards, gardens, suburban landscapes, or agricultural fields. Agricultural development has become dependent on the use of glyphosate, which has eliminated much of the region's milkweed. However, milkweed is an essential food source for the monarch caterpillar. The result of targeted pesticide use on the milkweed has been a reduction in the population of the monarch butterfly, now being considered for the endangered species list. Diminished monarch populations mean less pollination, and this disruption of the base of the food chain is just one example of the widespread harm that pesticides can cause. The impacts are felt not only by humans but by the ecosystem as a whole, and many of the specific effects are still unknown. Perhaps the first place to start making a change in pesticide use is the very institutions that educate the next generation on their harmful effects. So now we turn to our institution, the University of Delaware, and more specifically the Green, a staple of the university for prospecting students, current attendees, and alumni. Any visitor to UD can see that the school takes great pride in the uniformity and perfection of the green, but the methods through which that beauty is maintained are intentionally hidden from the public eye. These methods include applying pesticides in the early morning so that students don't see the procedure, and putting up vague signs which fail to disclose the specific chemicals applied. With the harmful effects of pesticides made known, it becomes disconcerting to think of the number of events, studying, playing, and sunbathing that occurs on the green, particularly during the spring season when pesticide use is at its peak, in preparation for the incoming and accepted student tours, graduation, alumni weekend, and the warming weather. To understand firsthand the effects of these pesticides, spontaneous interviews with students lounging on the green were conducted, and their responses were nearly unanimous. An overwhelming number of students reported itchy and irritated skin after as little as 20 minutes on the green. Their concern goes beyond themselves for many of these students, as those who are members of Proud or have therapy dogs see firsthand the effects these products can have on their beloved animals. These effects include itchy paws, rashes, and other physical maladies, and might lead pet owners to ponder what deeper physiological effects the chemicals may have and whether spending time on the green is even worth it.
I usually don't get itchy. I'm not allergic to grass or anything, and I have had rashes from sitting here all day.
Okay.
Is that why you brought the towel?
Yes. I can't just sit on my bare butt.
Yeah.
No wonder his paws are always itching whenever I take him home or whatever.
So do you feel that is an effect of the pesticides?
I mean, most likely, for sure, yeah.
Does it happen?
There'd be anywhere else that it would be coming from.
Yeah. Does it happen anywhere else that you know of?
No.
We've had some leg rash issues with the green. We don't really like that.
Yeah.
So we sit sometimes.
Absolutely. If this isn't looked into, then that's a problem. Why would anyone feel safe knowing that they're lying on a patch of grass that, even though it's as beautiful as it is, there's all these pesticides in the ground that could be potentially killing the animals that are sometimes over here, walking their dogs, people that are laying in the grass. And yeah, we might not have insects on the ground, but is it that worth it in the end? Because then we're drinking those pesticides later on. So I don't know.
Well, I feel like our plant science department is such a up and comer, working with different agriculture organizations and knowing so much about non-point source pollution or even how it affects our own community at UD. My one friend will not be on the grass because he's this just gives me such bad rashes, and he's definitely not allergic to grass. It's the stuff that they put on it. But if you have this opportunity to kind of do it an experimental change about what's going to be best for the environment, why not use that, especially if it's going to make your community healthier?
It's kind of unfair because I feel like they never asked us if that's what we want.
Yeah.
I feel like this school should be taking the opinions of the students into account, and it should be a choice made by the students because this is our school and not based on the administration, I guess.
Although the university has been slow to react to concerns voiced about the green, there are multiple student groups that are attempting to make a difference. One of the groups leading this charge is the Green the Green Committee. A subcommittee of students for the environment, Green the Green intends to find safer alternatives to the current chemical fertilizers and herbicides used on campus. They have convinced the university's grounds committee to establish a test plot for the organic maintenance methods on West Campus near the Amy DuPont Music Building. A quick visit reveals that the test plot is flourishing and seems to meet the same standards of beauty as the surrounding chemically treated areas.
So Green the Green is part of Students for the Environment. It was started in 2012 when McKay Jenkins' class was sitting on the green just for a class, and they noticed a grounds committee member in a full suit spraying literally 10 feet away from them, and they went up and said, "Hey, what are you spraying?" And they found out it was 2,4-D, which is a chemical in Agent Orange, which was used in World War II to kill enemy crops. So they no longer use that on the green, but they still use a lot of other chemicals that are dangerous to people and animals. So Green the Green is trying to get organics to be all over campus instead of these harmful herbicides and pesticides. So basically, grass will help itself to grow. So when you're using these harmful herbicides and pesticides, you're essentially killing the grass. So to keep it looking this good, you need to continue spraying over and over and over again. With organics, you put down a bunch of products that are all really great for the environment and people and animals just once, and then it'll start to work with itself, and it'll end up looking like this without having to use any chemicals. So that's why you end up saving so much money. Well, one big challenge is the university is funded by Dow Chemical. A big part of it is money. They think because the initial price is so big that they're going to be losing a lot of money, but like I said, in the long run, they're going to be saving a lot, so we just have to prove that to them. Also, you see how this is really beautiful, perfect grass. He always says that alumni want to come back and see this, so it's the aesthetic reason. Even though, like, we did a survey, we sent it out about a year ago. We got, I think, a little over 200 responses, and the questions were like, would you care about seeing different kind of grass, like clovers, on the green? Would you mind having an organic program? Do the pesticides and the herbicides bother you? And pretty much all the results are in our favor. So showing, I don't think we've showed them that yet. We're waiting to basically put this all on them. But I think after seeing that too, he'll see that alumni, faculty, students, all of them don't really care that there's organics on the grass, and they don't mind seeing these other types of grasses there.
The final suggestion for alternatives to pesticide use is to foster a culture that tolerates, enjoys, and even celebrates biodiversity on the green. After conducting interviews with students at UD, many have expressed a desire to decrease pesticide use, even if it means the addition of dandelions or bluebells on the green, some offering that it would add to the beauty of the green rather than take away from it. This is perhaps the best bet to reduce pesticide use and create a more friendly environment for both students and their pets. While it would be most beneficial to cease traditional pesticide use on the institutional scale, such as the University of Delaware, it must be realized that these institutional changes are difficult to implement, particularly in a short amount of time. Rather, the change needs to begin at the individual level. If the students who make up the institutionalized body begin to show interest, care, and concern about the use and effects of the current pesticides, this will naturally inspire a change at the institutional level.
And if people want to, how can they get involved with your club?
Come to our meetings. For next semester, we're coming up with the general meeting time right now. We know it's going to be Thursdays. We just don't know what time yet. So when we figure that out, we'll post it on Students for the Environment on Facebook and S4E with the 4 UD on Instagram is a good way to find out when our meetings are.